Welcome back to Trending Now USA, and thank you for joining us. I'm Bella, and as always, we appreciate every viewer who takes the time to stay informed with the latest developments from the world of sports, especially tennis, where emotions run high, careers evolve under pressure, and real human stories unfold in ways that are sometimes inspiring, sometimes shocking, and in rare moments, heartbreaking. And today, the focus is on one of the most powerful athletes in the modern era of tennis, Aryna Sabalenka, whose emotional breakdown during a press interaction has sparked conversation across the sporting world. It has been a whirlwind few months for Sabalenka. The world has watched her victories, her defeats, her fiery determination on the court, and her emotional vulnerability off the court. But nothing prepared fans or the media for what happened just hours ago. Aryna Sabalenka could not finish her statement through tears. Cameras were rolling, photographers were snapping photos, reporters were poised with microphones, and yet, the moment turned raw, real, and undeniably painful. For a player known for her power, aggression, and unapologetic confidence, seeing her break down so publicly has shocked many. But beyond the shock, there is a wave of empathy. It is a reminder that even the icons we see dominating stadiums, lifting trophies, and facing the highest levels of competitive pressure are human. They face private battles, emotional strain, heartbreak, and unspoken pressure that cameras rarely reveal. Sources close to Sabalenka described the past week as overwhelming. Between competition losses, personal struggles, and ongoing scrutiny from the public and media, the emotional weight had clearly reached a breaking point. And when the moment came to speak, not about performance, rankings, or strategy, but about feelings, circumstances, and expectations, her voice cracked, words dissolved, and silence filled the room. As reporters waited, she tried again. Her lips trembled. Her breathing became shallow. Tears streamed down her face, and suddenly, everything that had been guarded behind her competitive exterior appeared in full display. The room shifted from a press interaction to an emotional unraveling that no one seemed prepared for. People described the silence as stunning, not uncomfortable, not awkward, but heavy with respect. No one shouted a question. No one tried to interrupt. For a moment, this was not about journalism or performance. It was about witnessing a human being trying to hold herself together and failing, not because she is weak, but because she has carried too much for too long. Reports indicate that Sabalenka has been dealing with multiple stress factors, including the mental toll of constant travel, expectations from sponsors, the pressure to perform at every tournament, and the emotional fatigue that comes with being under a global spotlight. Athletes at the top level often speak about the unseen burnout that compounds over time. The physical training is one battle, but the psychological impact of fame, criticism, comparison, and constant competition can be far more draining. And for Sabalenka, someone who pushes herself relentlessly, the standards she sets internally may be even harsher than those the public imposes. In past interviews, she has hinted that she sometimes feels she has to justify her talent, her victories, and even her place in the top ranks. It's a mindset rooted not in insecurity, but in perfectionism, a driving force that leads to greatness, but can also lead to emotional collapse. Witnesses say she attempted to continue speaking, wiping her tears, inhaling deeply, and looking upward as if searching for strength. She formed a few words, barely audible, as emotion overtook her again. Her hands shook. Her shoulders trembled. The weight of everything she had held inside finally surfaced, leaving her momentarily speechless. Eventually, a team member gently stepped in, placing a hand on her shoulder, signaling the end of the press appearance. No further comments were made, and Sabalenka exited the room, shielding her face. But even as she walked away, the emotional impact lingered, not only for her, but for everyone watching. Fans online reacted almost instantly. Social media timelines filled with messages of support, encouragement, and concern. Some wrote that they had never seen her so vulnerable. Others expressed admiration for her willingness to show emotion, calling it a necessary breakthrough in a sport that often expects athletes to look invincible. Many pointed out that the sporting world has slowly begun acknowledging mental health and emotional well-being as equal in importance to physical performance. This moment brings back memories of similar emotional press conferences from other major tennis figures in recent years. The conversation surrounding athlete pressure and emotional tolerance has grown louder worldwide. While many celebrate athletic excellence, fewer recognize the toll that spotlight and performance expectations take on individuals who must compete year-round at the highest level. Sabalenka's tears reflect more than personal struggle. They reflect a changing era in sports, one where vulnerability is no longer seen as weakness, where honesty is valued over perfection, and where humanity has a place alongside competition. Some sports analysts say the emotional release could signify a turning point in Sabalenka's career, either a moment of collapse or a catalyst for transformation. Athletes often encounter a point in their journey where they must confront not their opponents, but their own internal pressure. Some emerge stronger, more balanced, and more resilient. Others continue to struggle but eventually find equilibrium through personal growth, support systems, and acceptance. Sabalenka has repeatedly proven she is a fighter. Her athletic intensity has driven her to major wins and global recognition. But this is different. This is not about competitive strength. It is about emotional strength and what happens when even the strongest need space to breathe. Coaches, former players, psychologists, and fans have all echoed one message online: it's okay to not be okay. The reaction suggests that today's sports community is far more compassionate than it was years ago, when emotional displays were often mocked or interpreted as weakness. Now, vulnerability is seen as part of the journey, not a flaw, but a stage of growth. There has also been speculation that private issues may have contributed to the emotional collapse. While nothing has been confirmed publicly, insiders suggest something beyond professional pressure may be affecting her. Whether personal loss, relationship stress, or other emotional strain plays a role remains undisclosed, but those close to the situation emphasize patience and respect. Meanwhile, journalists who witnessed the moment described Sabalenka's breakdown as one of the most emotional scenes they have ever seen in an athlete setting. Not dramatic, not staged, simply a raw release that felt deeply human. As the story continues to circulate globally, one question emerges: what comes next? Pressure can push an athlete toward greater strength. It can also break them if not balanced with support, rest, and emotional care. Sports organizations around the world are increasingly integrating mental health support systems for players, recognizing the demand of their environments. If Sabalenka chooses to step back temporarily or seek rest, many believe it would be understood and respected. But for now, what matters most is compassion. Fans, analysts, and experts agree that Sabalenka deserves grace as she processes whatever emotions overwhelmed her today. She has inspired millions with her competitive fire, her resilience, her authenticity, and now, her vulnerability. Moments like this remind the world that beyond trophies, rankings, sponsorships, and headlines, athletes are people with emotional lives shaped by forces most can't see. And sometimes, the bravest thing they can do is allow themselves to feel. So, as the sports world watches, the hope is that Sabalenka finds strength not in pretending to be unbreakable, but in healing, slowly, honestly, and with support. And when she returns, whether tomorrow, next week, or later, she will not only be an athlete, but a human being who faced herself and continued forward. For now, all we can do is send thoughts of support, encouragement, and patience, because sometimes the hardest battles take place far from the court. This is Bella reporting for Trending Now USA. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for continued updates as more details unfold.